Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mysterious Pals. My name's Chris, and this week we're going to be talking about a true crime mystery. But before that, I want to introduce, for the first time, as in every time, his name is Jordan, and he's here with me today. Thank you, Jordan, for being here.
Thank you, Chris.
It's great to have you, as always.
Good to be here. It's good to see your face.
First time, long time. This week, we're going to be talking about something it's been ruining my life. So we actually talk about what we did this week, right?
Yeah.
The last 2-3 weeks have been rough for me because I've been learning about the episode tonight, doing a lot of research about it because it grabbed me and held me.
Yeah, I like that. That also gives the
only reason I'm doing this episode is because I got somehow tangled up in it.
Yeah. The gift and a curse when you find something like that. You're like, oh, this is great. And then you're just like, ah.
And there's no resolution. That's the problem.
Well, I think there's never a resolution. But I think for me, when I find something I really like, I'm like, this is great. And you finally go through this rabbit hole and you're just like, oh.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff about it. And I'll tell you, I got tangled up in this story about our the true crime. And I know you're saying a true crime podcast all of a sudden. I guess we're selling out.
I mean, we know we've done it before.
Yeah, we've done true crime before, but and this one isn't that old, but it's still 20 years old. It was 20 years ago this thing happened, this event, and it's kind of history, right? 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's
sure. Okay, good.
I think that counts.
It's good. It's like I think if you have a classic car in America, it has to be 20 years old, right? An antique is like something more, 50 or 30 or I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Not me. But welcome aboard. This mystery is about, unfortunately, a missing person. And the way I found out about this is I was watching another video about this thing called 112 Dirtbag. Okay. 112 Dirtbag. And it's about this guy who basically was making these videos about this girl who was missing. And it was very quote trolling, if I was the father of this girl, it would have taken everything in me not to hunt this person down and just destroy them in every way possible, because and it's called 112 Dirtbag, and it's not so much I don't know how much he's actually saying, hey, I'm the one who did this. And here's a picture of the scene, and here's what happened. Here's what she said when I took her and what I did to her. And it's on YouTube. It was on YouTube.
This guy's saying this?
This guy. It's an old guy. His name's Alden Olson, apparently. And
I thought you said trolling. I thought he was just oh, I'm glad this person died, blah, 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 blah.
But technically, I guess what he was technically doing was trolling.
Yeah.
But he basically uploaded these videos, a couple of them, basically saying, here, I'm at the location where your daughter went missing. Yeah. Terrible. I think the FBI went after him and law enforcement got involved, but I think, but because I was so mad at this person, I was like, oh my God, the internet sucks. And apparently the videos were taken down, but they were reposted in a different site or something. There's a lot of stuff about it. If you look up, it's Dirtbag.
Never erase anything from the internet.
It's Dirtbag 112, and he is 112 it was Route 112 where this girl went missing. Okay, and that's why they call it Dirtbag 112. It's horrible, but this mystery. That's what got me on to find out about this mystery.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about Maura Murray. And this event, Maura went missing in 2004. And this was known as the first crime mystery of the social age. Another interesting part about this.
Okay, yeah.
Because it was one of the first, when this came out, it says
Facebook is huge right now, right? 2004?
No.
Facebook.
2004 came out. This says Facebook came out a few days after she went missing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And even MySpace pages were about this and stuff. Supposedly now it says that YouTube. There wasn't Twitter apparently at this time too.
No.
And YouTube started in 2005.
Jeez.
So this was the first mystery people were trying to piece things together online.
Yeah.
Because of social media starting to start off real a message boards were a thing.
Yeah. What's the big message board thing?
Reddit?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, but
Yahoo. Big message board thing back in the day.
No, but it was like these like where people would tell on message boards, not any specific one, but there's a term for it.
I think
spaghetti wasn't it? That sound right? No, that's
you had spaghetti there. What?
oh, there's
That was serious stuff. You're talking about spaghetti.
Hold on. All right, keep going.
Anyway, so they call this, and it's been called by a lot of people the first crime mystery of the social age, because people were starting to talk about it and like engage with each other about what happened because it was such a crazy thing. There's a lot of stories out there about this. There's a lot of videos about this, and we're doing an episode on it because it's been a part of my life for the last couple weeks, and it's been crazy to try to figure out what the hell has gone on. And the great thing about it is not the great thing about happened to this person, but like
the great thing about this,
the great thing, the bonus that we have for looking at this story 20 years after. There's so much stuff about it beginning.
Okay,
being that's the social age aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of information out there.
All right.
So many things you can read about it, and that's what happens. You fall down a hole that's very deep, very sad. And actually, this girl's sister just released a podcast, I think last year, maybe this year. I get a chance to listen to it. Really, I started listening to it. It's her sister's talking about it.
Okay.
What actually happened? You know, 'cause there's so much misinformation out there. But what were you gonna say?
For some reason, copy pasta, but I don't think that's right.
Well, creepypasta is
Creepypasta.
the thing. That's like a video thing.
Oh, all right.
Creepypasta is like
Is that where Slender Man came from?
I think so. He's also in a game.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But like, creepypasta is a thing where like a video person makes a video. It's like creepy. I think is how that works.
That makes sense because.
But it's like not real technically.
Yeah.
Okay, so 20 years ago, Maura Murray went missing. And we're going to go through the whole story about what happened. And before I get started, trigger warning is about a young woman who goes missing, possibly murdered, disappeared. We don't know. A lot of terrible things could have happened to her. We're just saying there's a lot of great resources out there about this. A lot of stories have been written about this, documentaries. It's crazy. And this is what's like, just even look, like I found myself the other day looking at maps of this area and being like, okay, what happened here? What direction could she have gone? What could have happened here? Who could have picked her up? Like, it's just crazy. And I'll go into that more.
Was it like that, the one scene from It's Always Sunny?
Was all like strings.
The red strings.
Yeah.
And like attacks.
It wasn't that bad because I don't have anything to tack anything to in this. Like, I tack them to my TV. I'm like, So Maura Murray was born on May 4th, 1982 in Hanson, Massachusetts. She was the fourth child of her family, and she was known for academic excellence and being a really good athlete. Okay, so kind of grew up.
Don't know anything about that.
Kind of grew up normal life, suburban life in Massachusetts. In high school, she excelled and academically and athletically, and earned a scholarship to West Point, which is United States Military Academy.
Yeah.
Pretty prestigious. Yeah. She did go there, but she left the academy sophomore year, transferring to University of Massachusetts Amherst, UMass, call it, to pursue her nursing degree. She also, at the time, while at UMass, was working 2 jobs to support herself.
Jeez.
And we're talking like early 2000s, right? Which is when we were in college. I graduated, technically.
Sure.
We'll just say that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So in November 2003, 3 months before she disappeared, Maura admitted to using a stolen credit card to order food from several restaurants, including one from a place in Hadley, Massachusetts. Charges, however, were postponed in December of that year to be dismissed after 3 months good behavior. So she was on kind of like not so much probation, but kind of, I guess.
Yeah.
But so the reason I'm bringing this up, because we're trying to build a like profile of what she was going on in her life. We're trying to look at like, she had this going on, like, could this have attributed to her doing these things or led to her being taken or disappeared, or her mindset of when you find out what happens to her and what was going on when she left or disappeared, we're like, what's going on? Like, that's why the story is so crazy. There's so many different aspects of things that are happening. Like, how did police not figure this out? It's crazy. All right, so we're going to go through a timeline. On February 5th, 2004, Maura was working a late shift at her campus security job when she received a phone call from her sister, Kathleen. I believe Kathleen is the one that did the podcast.
Okay.
I think. I'm trying to, there's a lot of jumbling things in my brain about this whole. So in the phone call, the two of them, Kathleen and Maura, discussed the relationship problem she was having with Kathleen's fiance. Around 10:30 p.m., she was still on her shift. Maura broke down in tears. Okay. Her supervisor found her at her desk, completely zoned out, unresponsive, like just kind of like in a thing.
Yeah.
Something was going on.
Yeah.
She was definitely preoccupied with something. Something was happening. So he was concerned. He escorted her back to her dorm around 1:20 p.m. Right? 1:20 a.m. Sorry. When asked what was wrong, she uttered 2 words to the supervisor. She said, "My sister." That was on record. Now, Kathleen obviously knew what was going on. Like, she had record of what actually happened, right? But the supervisor said this,
okay.
"My sister." It wasn't until October 2017 when Kathleen publicly revealed the conversations they had. So it was kind of a mystery up till 2017, what actually they talked about, which has kind of led to this kind of mystery going crazy, you know?
A long time.
Well, when you find out why, you'll understand. Okay. It turned out that Kathleen was struggling with alcoholism. She had been discharged from a rehabilitation clinic that evening. On her way home, her fiance took her to a liquor store and she had a relapse. Yeah. So,
oh man. All right.
That was the phone call. 2017 is when we heard actually what happened. You know, because a lot of people are like, well, who knows what was said in that conversation? Like, who was she talking to?
Yeah.
She said her sister. That's why the conversation with her supervisor was interesting up until her sister was just like, this is what happened.
No, new.
Right.
That long.
At this point, we're at February 7th. So that was February 5th, February 6th. At 1:20 a.m., she was back in her dorm. February 7th, 2 days before she disappeared, her father, Fred, arrived in Amherst to visit Maura. After dinner, Maura dropped her father off at his motel room and borrowed his Toyota Corolla, returned to campus for a party. She arrived at 10:30 p.m. At 2:30 a.m. on Sunday, February 8th, she left the party, and at 3:30 a.m., she was en route to her father's motel, and she struck a guardrail in Hadley, Massachusetts. At that point, she was driven to her father's motel and stayed in his room the rest of the morning. Okay, so she hit a guardrail. Father's not really said why or how, I guess. I mean,
they're drinking.
We don't know.
I'm gonna take a sip right now, though.
At this point, we don't know, though, because this doesn't have anything to do with her actually disappearing, other than the fact that she got into a car accident.
Right, yeah.
No, we don't know, like, if she was drunk. It wasn't on record. They didn't arrest her for being drunk, so.
Right.
At 4:49 a.m., there was a cell phone call placed to her boyfriend from Fred's phone. She called her boyfriend from his phone at 4:40 a.m. that morning after the accident.
Called his boyfriend from his phone?
Right. Because her phone may have been in the car, it may have been dead, whatever. Maybe she didn't have a charger. The participants and content of the phone call remain unknown, I guess because was it her who answered what happened during that call? They did talk to her boyfriend. The next morning, Fred rented a car and dropped Maura off at UMass and went to Connecticut. At 11:30 p.m. that night, or on February 8th, he called Maura to remind her to obtain accident forms from the Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles from the accident she had. They agreed to talk again Monday night to discuss the forms to fill out the insurance claim via phone. So her father's in Connecticut.
Yeah.
This is Monday night. They were going to talk again on Monday night, which would have been February 8th. It's 9th.
Okay.
They were going to talk so that morning, February 9th. Okay, so now we jump to after midnight on Monday, February 9th, Maura used her personal computer to search MapQuest for directions to the Berkshires and Burlington. Well, it's 2004.
No, it's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. She used her personal computer to search MapQuest for directions to Berkshires and Burlington, Vermont. Her first reported contact that day was at 1 p.m. when she emailed her boyfriend with the message, "I love you more, stud. I got your message, but honestly, I don't feel like talking too much to anyone. I promise to call today, though. Love you, Maura." apparently what was thought is like they were having her and her boyfriend were kind of having issues.
Sure.
And they weren't near each other.
Yeah.
Later, she made a phone call inquiring about renting a condominium at the same Bartlett, New Hampshire condo association where her family had vacationed in the past. So now we're talking about Vermont, New Hampshire, that area. The call lasted 3 minutes, but unfortunately, the owner did not rent the condo to her.
Do you even have the money to do that?
I don't know. We really don't know that part. Who knows?
But I'm just saying, like, she had to steal a credit or
that was
card.
3 months prior.
I know, but still, like, would she have money to do that now?
I don't know. We're not sure of the state of mind.
Sure.
At 1:13 p.m. on February 9th, which was a Monday, she called a fellow nursing student for reasons unknown, although it was found out that she had asked them for what some of the stories that she asked them if she can stay there with that person. Okay. But I don't know how that played out. At 1:24 p.m., she emailed a work supervisor from the nursing school informing them that she would be out of town for a week due to death in her family.
Interesting.
Strangely, her family had not experienced such a loss.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So she was setting up all these things.
Yeah. She's just trying to get out of town.
We don't know because you'll see what happens next.
Yeah.
She assured them that she would be in touch upon her return. At 2:05 p.m., Maura called a number providing recorded information about booking hotels in Stowe, Vermont, with the call lasting approximately 5 minutes. Later, at 2:18 p.m., she telephoned her boyfriend and left a message promising they would talk later. The call ended after just 1 minute. She left a message with him. Maura then packed her car with clothing, toiletries, college textbooks, and birth control pills.
Okay.
When her room was searched later, though, by campus police, they found most of her belongings packed in boxes. And all art and everything removed from the walls. It's like she was getting ready to move.
So, yeah, I wanted to say, again, I've never heard of this story before ever. But it seems like she just wants to disappear and is trying to cover the bases of like contacting certain people like, hey, talk to you soon. Can I stay with you? Probably knowing, trying to rent this condo, knowing she probably can't rent the condo, trying to talk to some friends like, hey, I want to stay with you. But
I didn't even think about that.
Like covering the bases of like
setting up a story.
Yeah, exactly. But it seems like the fact that stuff is all boxed up, she might be trying to just.
So that's one of the stories or the thoughts. The other thought is could she be trying to figure out a way to tell her family she's dropping out of school? Oh. And so she's packing stuff up because she wants to leave. And so she's going to go away and then come back and be like, I'm dropping out of school. This, and this.
Okay.
I need to go home, whatever.
Because she did drop out of West Point.
Right. And then went directly to UMass.
Right.
Which happens a lot.
No,
people are always dropping out of school.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I'm sure West Point was tough.
Yeah. I'm saying nothing wrong with that. I'm saying like maybe she's just still trying to figure out her way of what she wants to do with the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Which is totally understandable.
We all did that.
Yes, we did. But some say it's totally understandable, but maybe that's, like you said, that might be what's happening.
Right. So it's unclear whether she packed them up that day or she had them packed prior. But the police believe that she packed them between Sunday night and Monday morning, so overnight. On top of the boxes lay a printed email to her boyfriend hinting the possible trouble in their relationship. The report. I don't know anything more than that.
It's obviously premeditated. I mean, not obviously, but like clearly it's...
Clearly she was going somewhere.
Yes. Like it's known she's leaving. She had the desire to leave.
Yep.
Okay.
Or she was having issues with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
She's having her sister's going through some stuff. Because the other thing that comes up is like maybe she's so upset about her sister that she's like, I got to go home and help her. I'm dropping out. I'll come back to school some other day or some other time in the future. Around 3:30 p.m., Maura drove off campus in her black 1996 Saturn sedan. At 3:40 p.m., she withdrew $280 from an ATM, which was shown by closed circuit footage.
It's $382?
280.
Oh, 280, okay.
Okay. In closed circuit footage from the credit card machine shows she was alone. So we're trying to figure out, like, was anybody with her? Was anybody making her do this? Is anybody making her take the money out?
It's also like a weird amount.
I think it was like maybe the only thing she had in her account. Maybe she doesn't have any money. At a nearby liquor store, she purchased $40 worth of alcoholic beverages, including Bailey's Irish Cream, Kahlua, vodka, and a box of Franzia wine.
That's a college purchase right there.
Yeah.
Flop the bag.
Franzia, bag of wine's pretty good.
And then the Bailey's. Oh yeah, that's like someone who's going to college.
Yeah.
Sure, that's.
Yeah, I can't drink Bailey's because I'm lactose intolerant. Security footage again shows she was alone when she made the purchase. Okay, so she's still alone.
Maybe.
Well, exactly, but
right, someone could be out of the frame of the cameras.
And we'll talk more about when the accident happens or accident happens. At some point in the day, she also picked up accident reports from the Registry of Motor Vehicles that she told her dad she would. So that is interesting because now it points to she has plans to see her dad again. She picked up those forms. If she was just wanting to disappear, why would she pick up the forms? She'd just be like out. And it wasn't like she had a bad family. She didn't have a bad family life from what we understand.
Right.
She had a
exactly.
very loving family.
It doesn't necessarily mean though she's going to go see her dad again, does it? If she's picking up those accidents, because it was her accident. She's one in an accident.
But like they had to get him for the insurance.
Right.
So if she was worried about her dad and she was disappearing, she wouldn't have picked up the forms so that he could pick them up himself.
Yeah.
If she's picking up the forms, that means she has plans to see him again.
Or just mail them to him.
But at the same way, she had plans to somehow get them to her
contact
father. Yeah.
with them. Okay, yeah.
That she had no plans of disappearing completely.
Right. Because like you said, she didn't necessarily have a bad family life.
Right. From what we understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. From all the news that come out about her family and stuff, it's just like typical family. Typical loving family, supportive, that type of stuff. She left Amherst between 4 and 5 p.m., presumably via Interstate 91 North. She called to check her voicemail at 4:37 p.m. This was the last recorded use of her cell phone. She called her voicemail at 4:37 p.m. That was the last use of her cell phone. To date, there's no indication she had informed anyone of her destination or any evidence that she had chosen one. Her destination was unknown, but it's believed that she was heading to White Mountains in New Hampshire because her family vacationed there throughout her life, and she was familiar with that area.
Oh.
And she was heading north. Okay, so we're going to get into what actually happens in the accident. This is what happens that like kind of sets this whole thing off.
Okay. You keep saying accident. I don't know what you mean.
That's what I mean. So we're getting to the accident.
Okay.
So there are reports that there was a snowstorm in the area. Obviously, it's the north. It's February. North America.
Northeast.
Yeah, it's
Vermont.
Obviously it's always snow and crap up there. It's always hell. All right.
It all just sucks.
It's terrible. And it's like I imagine up in this part of the area of the country, in like Massachusetts and Hampshire, Vermont, it's just beautiful.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But like
traveling.
If you're in any city when it snows,
yeah.
In any city when it snows, you're just like,
it
looks nice for like 10 minutes, and then it's like, oh, everything's black and gross from all the roads, Sometime after 7 p.m., which would be dark, this is winter months, right? She was involved in a single vehicle accident on Route 112. That's what I talked about, Dirtbag 112. Route 112.
All right.
There was an accident, okay? This is near Haverhill, New Hampshire. A local resident who lived near the accident reported she could see a car up against a snow bank along Route 112. The car was pointing west on the eastbound side of the road. The local woman reported the accident.
So it was going the wrong way? Like it was facing the wrong way then?
The car was pointed west on the eastbound side. So it's snowing. She hit an embankment. Maybe she spun around.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, she's facing the wrong way. Car is facing the wrong way at this point?
Yes. I guess that makes sense. 2 and 2 equal 6. Yeah. All right. So this local woman who could see her out her window, she could see the area. She could see the car.
Yeah.
Okay? The local woman reported the car accident on the sharp curve adjacent to her home. She telephoned the Grafton County Sheriff's Department at 7:27 p.m. to report the accident. Another local resident, Butch Atwood, who was a bus driver, witnessed the accident, the aftermath of the accident, and stopped to offer help to Maura.
Sorry, real quick. So she called the police at what? They called the police at what?
7:27.
When was the last time she made a phone call? Like
when she used her cell phone last? 4:37.
4:37.
But it's not like not like we today have cell phones where we're like always talking to people and text messaging.
No,
and
right,
kind of
yeah,
crap.
yeah.
Like these are just for calling.
Yes, yeah.
I don't even know if you could text message on some phones. I mean, you could, but like
You'd be charged for it.
yeah, and like that wasn't even as big a thing. Like when
no one's really using it.
I had a cell phone in in this time, my high school when I went to college, and my parents were like, here's a cell phone so we could get a hold of you. And like I had like you could only call like we had minutes.
Yes.
So if you talk during peak times, which was like before 9 p.m. or 7 p.m., you would use your minutes. And you ran out of minutes, you're out of phone time.
Yep.
Until off limits where you like could call and talk.
After like 9 or something like that.
Yeah, like something stupid like that. I remember like in college, I had to like wait to call my girlfriend at the time. Like, oh, I have to call you after this. And then like you text message, but it was like 10 cents every one you sent and 1 cent when you received one. So we'd always message like our friends and be like, go to hell. Cause we'd be like, he's like, I'm getting charged for this stuff. Stop it. Cause eventually some people get like, oh, you get 600 texts a month or something. Yeah. Remember that? Yep. It's so stupid. Thankfully all that stuff's done. Dumb. Yeah. But like, so like you get like 600 texts a month and that's it.
I think that's how people start using like the acronyms for like texting too, right?
Because you only text so much.
Yes.
So many words. Yep. Yeah.
Weird times.
Weird dumb times. It's like we had internet on our phone or anything. I mean, smartphone didn't really come out until like 2007. We weren't like searching for crap. We were literally only using it to text or call people. Right. And it was tough. Oh, heavens.
How do we do it? How do we survive with just MapQuest?
Yeah, we couldn't even MapQuest stuff. I remember when I was on tour in a band, we had like we had our laptop with us and we had an actual program, Microsoft something, and it was like a disk to put in and it had all map data on it up to that point, whatever year it was. Oh, wow. So when we were like trying to find places because we didn't have internet access, and not when we had like Wi-Fi and stuff, unless we went to like somewhere with Wi-Fi to like find out where we were going, we would just like use this CD. Mm-hmm. But like it wasn't like up to date in any cases. It was just like
that's still impressive though, man.
Yeah, that's how they did it.
There's a time me and my dad went to Canada, went to Toronto because the Bears were playing the Bills in Toronto, and we really didn't think about this. We had cell phones, but I think his had GPS on it. But as soon as we crossed the border, it didn't work.
Yeah,
so we're just like, how do we get to where we're going? So he always kept like Rand McNally's in the back of his car. We used to always use them like when we were growing up, do like family trips, and like he'd be like, hey, my mom or him would be like, pick a route you guys want us to take, and we're just like, I don't know. But it was funny because we use this old, probably at this point outdated Rand McNally trying to figure out where we're going in Toronto. We eventually got where we're going, but it took us time to get there.
Yeah, there's a whole like industry that was like printing out maps for people.
Oh yeah.
And then MapQuest came along and like then you would like print out your own maps. You're like, crap, now I have a printer. And you print out like all those pages. It's like,
but they wouldn't tell you if there's like not all the time, but a lot of times they wouldn't tell you if there's construction going on.
Or like a new road, old road, that type of thing.
Yeah, that was wild, man.
Yeah. Especially because you're like, oh crap, we do miss the exit? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Where's the paper? Or you have like the big map. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember it was like AAA had like the triptychs where you like go by and they print out a whole thing of like, okay, you're going to take this road. And it was like basically like a notebook that had like every road you take.
Oh, wow.
And you like, they'd highlight the road you're on. Thing. Yeah, like it had to be like, I think my parents always did that for stuff. Like, we're going to go to Tripkick, and you need to go pay for it. And they would like print out your entire route in like this big book.
That's smart.
And you'd fall. And obviously MapQuest, but like that entire industry is gone.
Oh, yeah.
Like map makers are like, crap. Yeah. They're like, oh my God.
What was the one big GPS, like Tom something?
TomTom. Yeah.
You think it's still around anymore?
I think someone bought them because they had all the data.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I mean, it's really weird when you get in a car and there's like one of those GPS things mounted. You're like, what the hell are you doing, man? Then you have a phone. And like now cars all have them built in and like their screens. Anyway.
Back to this missing lady.
Sorry. It's so crazy. We just have to like, it's so sad that you have to like this. We got to like be funny about things because it's so sad. Like, it's just like, we can't.
But you want to like make light too much of the situation.
I'm just saying like,
no, I know what you're saying.
The time and place, like the time of what was going on at this time, like to give context to like what we lived through and like the kind of instances of mapping back then. Yep. And this is a time when she probably didn't have GPS like that. Again.
No, but that's the thing. Like she said that she's going to a familiar place that her family used to vacation. So she knows
generally how to get there.
Generally, like, and probably knows these roads pretty well.
Well, maybe, but she wasn't from this. She's going from UMass Amherst to there, where usually she's going from
Massachusetts,
like where she was from.
So yeah, the phone call was made. The lady that saw this happen. Or saw her car.
Yeah. Okay. So this lady who saw it, the accident, the car was close to her house. She saw it through a window. She saw, or no, go back to Butch Atwood, the bus driver.
That's right.
So he comes up. He stops and says, "Hey, do you need help? Can I call the police for you or whatever?" He reports that Maura appeared shaken but no visible injuries. She was outside of the car. He reports that she was outside walking around the car. Okay.
Yeah, she's got an accident. That's what I would do.
He offered to call for help, but she pleaded not to call authorities. She said, "I already called AAA," which turned out to be false because AAA reported no call had been placed. So she said, because she didn't use her phone since 4:30.
Okay, so real quick, why would a person not want called?
Because she just had an accident the other night. And then she didn't want her dad to know. She didn't want any of that stuff.
Yes.
And she probably didn't want him to know. He'd be like, where are you? Why are you there?
Yeah.
And she had to explain the whole story.
Yep.
She's probably thinking, maybe I can fix this myself. Yeah. Maybe I can go get the tow truck.
Maybe
I don't know.
At this $280, I could just pay someone off maybe. Like, hey, you didn't see this.
Well, I mean, she just tell the guy, "Hey, don't call anybody."
Right, but also like sometimes when accidents happen, people are just like, "Hey, let's not get the insurance involved. Here's some money," kind of thing. But but it seemed like
it was her single
anybody.
car.
Yeah, single car, right?
So she could use that to go get a tow truck and come.
Yeah,
we're gonna go over why the car wouldn't work or why she was not in the car. Because there's other stories like she was locked out of the car, maybe type of thing. Again, going back to Butch Atwood, she pleaded not to call authorities.
Mm-hmm.
Said she already called AAA, no call had been placed. However, Butch knew there was no cellular reception in the area. He knew right away that was a lie. He continued home and called the police. So he coming home, he's like, "I gotta call the police because there's no cell phone. She's lied."
I mean, that's a nice guy. Also, the woman who called the police originally. That's
nice. I mean, hopefully most people would do something when they see something like that.
Sure. But
his call was received by the sheriff's department at 7:43 p.m. So the one lady called at 7:27. His call was received at 7:43. The bus driver was unable to see Maura's car while he made the call, but he did notice several cars passed on the road before the police arrived. So he went home, couldn't see her from his house, but he did notice a couple cars drove down the road, and that'll come into play in a minute. Later.
So he lived in this area?
He lived right around there. Right. This is a pretty rural area.
I wasn't sure if this is like a school bus driver or like a...
This is bus driver.
Greyhound. Okay.
So he must have been on his way home from work. From what I understand, again, there's a lot of details.
Sure.
A ton of resources out there to find out the answer to these questions. So he noticed a couple cars driving down the road. That's going to come into play in a minute. According to the official police log, an officer arrived on the scene at 7:46 p.m. and Maura was gone. Okay. So he made the call. Butch made the call at 7:43 p.m. But there was a call already placed at 7:27 p.m. By the time the cop got there at 7:46, 3 minutes after he called, he was gone. And he had just seen her before 7:43. So probably I'd say a few minutes before, he already talked to her, maybe 10 minutes before or something, however long it took him to pull in his driveway and go in the house. And again, he knew there was no cell phone reception, so he knew she was lying about the phone call, apparently. All right, so now we're going to go into the investigation. So she's gone. Unfortunately, never to be seen again. We still to this day do not know where Maura is.
Okay.
She could be alive, dead, taken. We don't know. So the police found Maura's car locked with her belongings inside. There was a few things she took with it. So apparently there was a book bag she took or something like that. We'll go into that in a minute. The car had sustained damage, such as a cracked windshield, broken headlight, and the radiator had been pushed into the fan.
All right, so locked. Cracked windshield.
Right? That's why she couldn't drive it.
Yeah.
So it was undrivable because radiator was pushed into the fan.
Yeah.
Windshield was cracked and no headlight. Well, broken headlight on that side. And the airbags had deployed. So she was going fast enough, she had the airbags deployed. And it's reported that the police said this car would be inoperable. Generally, the reports are it's inoperable. She wouldn't be able to continue if she tried. She may even try to restart it. It didn't start, whatever. Yeah. There was a box of wine on the rear seat and an empty beer bottle was found inside the car. Now, but again, I don't know if that beer bottle was like from a party.
Yeah.
Previously. We don't know.
But didn't she buy a box of wine?
She bought alcohol and a box of wine. But
she didn't buy any beer though, right? She's got the Baileys.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
the officer found a AAA card issued to Maura, blank accident reports forms, gloves, compact discs, makeup, and diamond jewelry in the car. Driving directions to Burlington, Vermont. There's also a book called Not Without Peril, which is a book in the car. Yeah. A book about mountain climbing in the White Mountains.
Oh, okay.
But right. I don't know if it's like I didn't really get a chance to look and see like if that is a instructional book or is it like a story.
Okay.
Fiction book, nonfiction. What is the one that's not real?
Not real?
Yeah, fiction or nonfiction?
Not real fiction.
Okay, so it's a fiction. I don't know if it's a fiction book or like an instructional book.
So we also don't know if like that's something her family did, like they went mountain climbing up here or anything like that. That's interesting.
Yeah. And she left it in the car.
Yeah, along with, you said diamond jewelry?
Well, her jewelry, yes. And makeup and discs, gloves.
Jewelry?
Yes. But not found in the car. This is stuff that wasn't in the car. Her debit card and credit cards, her cell phone, and these things have never been located since. Her cell phone, I don't know if they didn't ping it.
I was going to say, was that a thing back then? Could you do that back then?
You could definitely do that, but like, you understand you could definitely do that, but like where, maybe the data they got from that, maybe it was off, maybe it was dead, that type of thing. There also the police report that reported some of the bottles of purchased liquor were not there. They were missing. The authorities noted there were no signs of a struggle at the scene. And there were no footprints leading away from the car in the snow, which made it difficult to determine where she had gone.
Sure. So that mean it could have kept snowing this whole time?
Yeah, or
covering them up.
Or she walked on the road. She didn't like go on the side of the road. Right. The initial response from the local law enforcement involved a search from the immediate area around her vehicle. The police, aided by tracking dogs and thermal imaging, scoured the woods and nearby roadsides but found no trace of her. There's also reports that like the tracking dogs led like 100 yards away and then stopped and lost the scent. As if theories is maybe she was picked up 100 yards from her crash. But we'll go into that in a minute.
Another thing in like movies or TV shows, like people cross some water, like the hounds can't follow.
Well, yeah.
So lose the scent in the water.
Also the Nuclavie, that's how you get away from them.
That's right.
Yeah, from the Nuclavie episode in the Summer of Seamoth.
Yeah.
But the search was hampered by cold weather and rough terrain in the area because it is a rural area.
Vermont in the winter, yeah.
Despite these challenges, the police continued their efforts interviewing residents and canvassing the area for potential witnesses or clues. As the days passed without any sign of Maura, investigation expanded. New Hampshire State Police and the FBI became involved, and the search area widened. Maura's family and friends also mobilized, distributing missing person flyers and organizing their own searches. Media coverage of the case grew. National news outlets picked it up, leading to a flood of tips and potential leads. However, the leads often led to dead ends, and investigations struggled to make significant progress. So it's also like the reason I put that in there is because like they're like plastering it. It's in the news. It's becoming a big news story around the United States. So like people, if they saw her, like people would see her. There'd be credible evidence to find her. Yeah. You know, like if we put out there more news sources, we could probably find her quicker, or like at least see anybody's seen her. Please tell us.
Right.
Her boyfriend was brought in quickly and like questioned by police along with her family, and like he was cleared of like not like it wasn't him. Obviously, the people are like, oh, it was the boyfriend. It was this, and a police had cleared these guys, and people still look into her boyfriend and say like, obviously he wasn't near her.
Family's cleared, boyfriend's cleared. No tomfoolery there.
Right. So the long-term investigation and developments in the story go as Maura's cases remained opened, but progress has been is really slow. Law enforcement still continues to receive tips, but nothing has brought them closer to finding her. The case became a topic of interest in the internet because of the rise of social media. Many online communities forming to this day still discuss this whole thing because it is a big deal. Over the years, obviously, there have been various developments, including release of police reports and other documents related to the case. Some instances, new information has emerged, but it has often been insufficient to move the investigation forward significantly, especially when you talk about like her sister making her own podcast, coming out about the call in 2017. Her family has been very active still to this day, working closely with investigators and the media, keeping an eye on keeping the case in the public eye. Her dad used to go up there like every weekend and search for her. He got in trouble for going on people's land and stuff, and like he got some calls about that. Police always have to deal with that. Her boyfriend again was brought in and he helped in the investigation, but it's just like nothing.
Dead ends.
Completely dead end to this day. No one can figure out what happened to her after that crash. There have been lots of theories, obviously, but like searches of the area have been done by many, many people. There was a piece of fabric found in like a trail close to there or in general area, and they DNA tested it and it was like not her at all. Like a book bag was found and it wasn't her,
Oh, gee.
It wasn't hers.
Damn. All right,
Yeah, we're gonna go into theory. So, why don't you give me a little?
Yeah. So,
give me your thoughts.
So, let's surmise this real quick if we could. So, she's in college, right? UMass nursing, dropped out of West Point, and nothing wrong with that. We've both.
I've been dismissed from college many times.
Her sister had a problem with alcoholism, right?
Yeah, was in rehabilitation.
Her sister's boyfriend,
fiance
was like, here, alcohol.
Well, he took her to. Who knows if he was like pushing on her?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. He may have been having problems with her boyfriend.
May have been on the rocks. Yeah,
it's a big maybe. She had packed up her stuff from her dorm room, right? In boxes.
Yep.
Everything was off the walls. She was in a previous accident
with her father's car. A few days earlier.
Her boyfriend was like, "Hey, you have to go get like paperwork for this."
No, her father's.
Her father
said, "Hey, go pick up the paperwork. We'll talk about it. Fill out the forms for the insurance."
Okay. You picked up the forms.
Correct. On Monday, February 9th.
Yep. Left. Went to the liquor store, right? Some Baileys, box wine,
vodka.
Vodka. Also tried to date her family's condo at some point.
She was calling to rent a condo, not her family's condo. It's like a condo her family stayed in, or like the area.
Okay.
She called some people to see if she can rent a place.
Okay. Also contacted friends of hers from school,
a fellow nursing student, to see if she could. Apparently, the story was, I'm not sure how true this is, that she asked if she could stay there.
Okay. She makes her way to Vermont, to an area where her family vacated, coming from a different way. She's coming from UMass versus where her family would be.
She wasn't going towards her family house.
Yeah, but I'm saying is like she's going to this place where her family would vacation, but she's coming from a different direction this time around.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And woman sees her car, calls the police. The bus driver comes.
Bus driver's just driving by. Says, "Hey, need help?"
Nope.
Pleaded with her.
Yeah.
Please do not contact her.
Yeah. All right. So there's a bottle of beer in the car. Again, don't know when that would have been in there. But did they find alcohol in the car other than that bottle of beer?
The
box of wine
was in there. Apparently there's the reports that there was like red marks around the car, and it could have been like the wine. They found out it was like the wine. But then also they said that the wine damaged wine was in the car. Maybe it exploded and she got out and was like, crap, what the hell?
Which makes sense because like the windshield was broken. Radiator pushed back into the fan car. The bus driver didn't say anything about like, say anything like, oh, she's going to be intoxicated. Just that she was Looking up.
Yeah, she was seemed upset.
Like circling the car.
They didn't know if like maybe she was locked out of the car, maybe not.
But that's right, because the car was locked.
I think.
Initially, and I hope this doesn't belittle the whole thing. I'm thinking maybe life just might have been catching up with her. Stuff was going on with her family. Maybe like someone's going on with her sister. Problem with alcoholism. Might have been on the rocks with her boyfriend. Left West Point. Went to UMass to start a new like trajectory.
Yeah, she's changed career paths.
She'd previously wrecked her dad's car, so maybe she's kind of like not in a good space right now.
Right, like a lot of things are coming to head.
Yeah, it's kind of overwhelming for her, so maybe she bought that alcohol. Maybe she's trying to escape for a little bit, get out of town, get out of Dodge, kind of clear her head, be alone for a minute to think things through. She may have been drinking as she was driving, maybe. And she might have hit something, maybe like hit something that would have been evidence, because I've hit deer, or deer have hit me.
Yep.
You can see like there's evidence of it. There's like hair.
Well, she hit a snowbank because the lady.
Snowbank, that's right. Maybe she just was slightly intoxicated.
Or it was snowy night. It was a snowy night.
Of course, yeah, it's Vermont, middle of winter. She might have been like, somewhat buzzed maybe, trying to get to her destination. And of course was shooken up after that because something was freaking out. Like, I can't have another accident reported.
Okay, yeah. Wreck another car.
Right, yeah. Maybe she got out of the car. I was like, I'm going to lock the door because I have some valuables in here, but I want to kind of keep drinking because I'm stressing out.
Or she was like, I need to walk and go get.
Yeah.
There's no cell phone signal, so I need to go walk to a service station.
Exactly. And it kept snowing, and her footprints been covered. Froze to death.
I think she's still. I mean, they would have found her if she froze to death.
Maybe. I guess maybe after 20 years, but I mean, tons of people have been lost longer and haven't been found.
But I mean, it's not like she would have like trudged off into the wilderness. She would have probably followed the road to get like.
But maybe she wanted to stay off the road because she didn't want to get caught. Again, she's another accident again.
Yeah. But
I don't know. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
Like that line.
She froze to death, but like, I mean, they would have found her.
Or that's what happened, and then she decided to like trust the wrong person. And
yeah.
They kidnapped her.
Again, these are all valid points because there is no answer. I will say that there's obviously a lot of misinformation and stuff when it comes to this story. There was information like there was one of the big points of the story for years, and apparently some people still think this is true, that the lady who called originally said that there was a guy in the car smoking, but because he saw a red light. But then she was like, she originally said that, but then she said she saw a red light glowing, and it probably was a cell phone light.
Yeah.
So
you might have been trying to make a call at the time in the car.
And again, call like
maybe those. Yeah,
but the bus driver never saw a guy. There was no evidence that there was another person in the car. So it was like another thing people call like, who's this guy that was with her? And there was no other guy. Apparently, there was no other person. Because a lot of the theories are like, well, she was pregnant by some other guy, and she was trying to do this or that, that type of thing.
It was like misinformation that kind of gets blown out of proportion.
Correct. Yeah, like a lot of different tangents on this story. Again, I don't really do a lot of the true crime stuff. And because this story has just been crazy, because it's like, how can they not find? How? Okay.
This is infuriating.
Yeah.
I can see why you stop thinking about this.
There was an alleged sighting, and this is reported on by a couple different sources, Boston Globe being one of them, that between 8 and 9:30 p.m., there was a potential sighting of a young person moving quickly on foot eastbound on Route 112, about 4 to 5 miles east of where her vehicle was discovered.
Okay.
He noticed that the person was wearing jeans, a dark coat, and a light-colored hood. He did not report it to police immediately because he was talking about dates or something. Only discovering 3 months later that he spotted the young person the same night Maura had been missing, because he was like going through work. Apparently, he was going through records of his like work tickets and was like, "Oh crap, that was that same night. That's the same." And trying to put that, but it could have been like any young person. That's the thing.
Yeah, but walking on the side of the road and the middle of winter.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, I don't know what people do around there, but
the responding officer and the bus driver drove around the area searching for her just before 8 p.m. EMS and a fire truck arrived on the scene. By 8:49, the car had been towed to a local garage. About 9:30, responding officer left. A rag believed to have been part of her emergency roadside kit was discovered stuffed in the Saturn's muffler pipe. I don't know about that one.
Wait, what? Say that again?
Apparently, reported on in Maura is Missing Part 2. It says that something from an emergency roadside kit was shoved in her muffler pipe.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I was thinking about like why they would tow the. Well, if there was no actual evidence of a crime.
Correct. Being reported. And with all the information they had. So the thing that people keep pointing to, or some point report to, is like, you towed the car, ruining evidence.
Yeah, right.
But like the car is still intact, so you can still look inside the car for the actual evidence. Where this gets weird is there was other murders or another missing person in the same area. Same kind of age almost, like same thing.
Around the same time too.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like.
Then you start going down the whole like serial killer.
That's what happened.
Rabbit hole with that. Which is very interesting, but that could be, totally coincidental too.
Oh, okay. Vermont in March 2004, which was a month later, Brianna Matland in Vermont. 1 month after Maura, and under similar circumstances, with her car being found mysteriously abandoned.
All right, I can see the correlation between that.
Yeah, so she's still missing.
Got girls too?
Yeah.
All right, well. That changes things.
Okay, let's get into these theories here. So the first one is foul play. One of the most persistent theories is that Maura was the victim of foul play after a car accident on Route 112 in Woodsville, New Hampshire. Some believe that Maura was abducted by a stranger after she left the vehicle. Theory suggests that Maura might have accepted a ride from someone that she thought was trustworthy, or she was forcibly taken, like a crime of they call it crime of when it comes up and you're like, oh, they do it now, like it's convenience, maybe.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
The remote location in the dark, isolated environment cited as factors that could have made her vulnerable to an assailant. So just so happened this person was driving the street, was like, I'm going to take this girl.
The wrong guy came across.
Yeah. There's, however, no physical evidence, such signs of struggle or witnesses who saw Maura after the crash. Or this theory, because like it is a rural area, so maybe gone.
Yeah.
Guy drives up, grabs her, but it seems like there's other cars that went down the streets. It's not like it would happen instantly. Maybe, I don't know. It seems crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what the traffic would be like around there. It'd be rare car goes down there every often, or constantly cars are going.
No, it was this rural area, but the bus driver did say in that time since he got home there was a couple cars that went down the street.
That's true. Yeah.
Another angle on this theory is that someone local to the area may have encountered her. And investigators have looked into backgrounds of local residents and travelers, but no solid leads have emerged. There wasn't like, oh, this guy's the weirdo that we found doing this thing, so he's probably the one who took her. There was no.
It's old man.
Yeah, and the other thing is, she's a young, 20-something athletic person, so it couldn't be some old guy rolling up on her. She'd be able to fight him off, probably.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like it depends on like how long she might have been walking out in the cold and. Was maybe somewhat intoxicated. Yeah, no.
Or he pulled a gun on her and was like, get in the car.
That's true too. Yeah. I have a gun. So.
The other theory about foul play is the serial killer theory. Because of the proximity of her disappearance to another solved case, Brianna Matland, I said. No connection.
Another solved case?
The other unsolved case of Brianna Matland. However, no connection between Maura's disappearance and known serial killers have ever been substantiated by evidence. So like whenever they found other serial killers, they weren't like, oh, here's her clothes, that type of thing. Also, there hasn't been any discovered in that general region. Even though they say like, what's the kind of stat you see is like there's 5 serial killers active at any time in the United States.
To think of that.
Yeah, of course.
But they also, then you said in an area not pertaining to her, but like they found a piece of clothing and a backpack.
Yeah, but it's like they found it on a trail that was close by, so maybe someone lost something on a trail. They were camping, like that type of thing. It's like
sure, yeah. Okay, I didn't think about that.
Incidental type of stuff. Number 2, voluntary disappearance. So another widely discussed theory that Maura chose to disappear voluntarily, possibly to start a new life.
Okay.
You brought this up. She had a lot of personal stuff going on.
Yeah.
But
it all seemed like she's trying to check the boxes of like checking in with certain people.
And her sister's going through some stuff. She wouldn't have just disappeared because her sister's going through stuff. She probably would want to go help her. I don't know.
Maybe.
Sources of this theory suggest that Maura was overwhelmed by personal problems, including her academic struggles, the recent breakup of her boyfriend, possibly, or issues with her boyfriend, legal issues involving the credit card fraud. Because, and think about this, maybe she thought if she got in trouble for wrecking the car,
the second car.
Well, no, the first car, you had to stay on good behavior to stay out of trouble or stay out of jail or whatever, or serving time or anything. So this is like 2 wrecks. Alcohol's in the car. Could she be like, oh crap, I'm going to go to jail or I'm going to get in trouble for this because I was supposed to be good for 3 months. Yeah, so that was in December. She had to stay good till March. It's theorized that these stressors may have driven her to escape her current life. The fact that she withdrew money, emailed her professors about a family emergency, packed her car, it's just she may have been planning to leave for an extended period.
Well, that's what I think. So maybe if this was a plan, like I'm getting away, getting out of this for a long-term thing. I think she's like checking all those boxes. Dad, I'll see you.
Yeah.
I'll get to go get his papers. But she's also packing belongings at the same time, like checking all those boxes. If something happens to me, to look one way, but I'm doing this thing to like totally different.
This doesn't seem like in her personality, from what I understand from all the research, that she would want to disappear.
Well, fair enough.
She may have wanted to get away for a little bit by herself and clear her head.
I think that's more likely.
But like, not just totally disappear.
Yeah.
Again, she kind of screwed her dad over if she got the forms and didn't give them to him.
I decided to disappear. I'm going to leave my car abandoned on the side of the road. Like, you would have to have a plan B. Like, someone's going to come pick me up, but who would go pick her up?
And not report it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, eventually after 20 years, someone would be like, no, I did.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened
afterwards. One of those
deathbed
confessions things like, I picked her up.
So there's also kind of specific version of this disappearance theory that she had intended to flee to Canada because she was heading north and like disappear into Canada and like live up there and like start a new life. But they would have record of her crossing the border for the most part, unless she had a fake ID.
Or yeah.
There's no evidence or sightings to confirm that she crossed the border.
All right. These all seem like, for the most part, like there's some reasonable. They all seem reasonable, like reasonable.
Thank you. A third prominent theory is that Maura succumbed to the elements after leaving her car. She was wandering into the woods because the area she was found in, or the car was found in, was remote with dense forest and rough terrain. It is possible that she got disoriented and panicked. She left the scene and got lost in the woods. Exposing herself to the cold February temperatures could have led to her hypothermia and death. Searches of the area, however, have never uncovered any remains or any personal items generally belonging to Maura. But there's plenty of stories out there of people getting lost in the woods, where people are searching for them for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden, one weird incident, they find them like on the side of a hill.
Yeah.
Or like
a clavicle or like a. Yeah.
But people have looked for so long for her in this area. FBI, search parties, family, like her dad went out there all the time and just walked around. They would have found something.
Maybe kind of think of the Dyatlov Pass incident, but like they found all their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
because if you die, you're just gonna be frozen.
Yeah.
And like people and like animals could eat you, but they're gonna find your clothes and stuff.
Right.
Another variation of the story of this theory suggests that she may have injured She may have been injured either in the car accident or afterward, leading to her incapacitation and eventual death in the surrounding wilderness. Maybe she had a
Concussion.
and she like.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That might have been from the windshield being kind of like
right.
Smashed. Head hit them.
But her airbag deployed. So maybe she this theory is that she kind of had a concussion or something, walked out into the woods, died, but still you would still find a body eventually. Because she couldn't have got very far. Even 5 miles would have taken her a while. And she did die, but like she's probably trying to go find a gas station or something to get her car towed.
Or she wouldn't walk on the wilderness doing that. She would
right, that's what I'm thinking. Why would she walk through the wilderness?
Is there anything about like what caused a crack in her windshield?
I think it was just like a wreck. You know, she slammed into a thing. Windshields can crack from pressure. You know, from like.
What did it say? She hit a snowbank?
Her airbags deploy. So
yeah, what would cause a crack in the windshield?
If things get, I mean, the radiator got pushed in. Maybe it pushed in a beam into the. It doesn't take that much when the cars at this time are starting to have crumple zones where things crumple up to take. So everything is smushed into everything. I mean,
windshield though.
Windshield's cold. It can shatter pretty easily, probably.
I mean, you hit big enough. It's cold enough. Chunk of ice, that too, from the snowbank.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things that can break a windshield. It's not that big of a deal when you're in an accident. I mean, things are made to like the force. When they design cars at this point now, you know, they make it so the force of the accident goes around the participant. That includes windshield and stuff can just break to absorb some force. The shockwave of force. So that theory of that she had like some kind of maybe a concussion or something may have led to her falling into a river or a place where maybe falling into like a place where it's hard to find her, or she may have like, you know, went into like a cave maybe if she'd gotten far enough into the hills and like died there, you know, but we would have found her probably. More than likely they would have found her by now, hopefully.
But I mean, well, not necessarily. That's not guaranteed.
Yeah, you're right. But like, again, people have been looking for her in that area for in the amount of time it would take her to get from place to place. Like we don't know how far she went, so maybe she walked far enough. The less commonly discussed theory is that Maura may have taken her own life. At some point, Maura's emotional distress in the days leading up to her disappearance has indicated that she may have been contemplating suicide. A combination of her personal issues, family issues, possible breakup with her boyfriend, possible legal troubles, could have driven her to a point of despair. However, there was no direct evidence to suggest that Maura was planning to harm herself, and her family strongly opposes this theory because all the evidence points to like she was planning on seeing people again. The big argument here is that in the suicide theory, Maura packed her car with items suggesting she planned to continue her life elsewhere. Additionally, the lack of suicide note or indication of her finality in her action makes this theory less convincing.
Yeah.
I have one more. It's the most fringe theory, supposedly. Aliens came down and came in. No.
She's time travel.
Yeah. Oh. It's Saint Germain, yeah. As in last episode. Here's the most fringe theory suggested by my research. This suggests that she could have been a cover-up by law enforcement, either to protect someone involved in her disappearance or to hide mistakes made during her initial investigation. And I think at this point, at the time of this recording, her father had this year or last year sued investigators or sued the police department for basically screwing things up.
Okay.
Like fumbling it.
Towing the car.
Maybe. I'm saying like general, like everything they did, there's problems. So critics of the investigation have pointed to inconsistencies in the police reports, the delay in issuing a public alert about her disappearance, and the handling of certain evidence as possible indicators of a cover-up. This theory, however, lacks evidence and is generally considered speculative, but it also plays on the theory of like this idea of distrust in authorities that society has, you know.
Sure.
They have to blame someone.
Yeah.
So it's very well known that her family is frustrated with the case, particularly her father. Very frustrated with the way it was handled, how it's been handled, how it's still handled. This has fueled a lot of speculation that something was amiss in the way the case was handled. Fred's legal battles with New Hampshire authorities to obtain information about the investigation has contributed to this theory. So he's like battling about like, give me this. Like,
what about Vermont authorities?
It's because it happened. The wreck was in.
It was in Vermont.
He was heading towards Vermont.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I think like that's like it's bound to happen. It goes on something like this goes on long with family member of someone who's missing or deceased. And the authorities like
they have to blame someone.
Yeah,
they're trying to do everything possible, any legal action they can.
Yeah, I think like I'm not saying either side's wrong or right, but like it's going on that long. Like someone's gonna be like, okay, someone needs to be blamed for this. You know.
The other thing you have to think about is like investigators have to hide a lot of details of the information they have so that when something comes up, they can easily say, we know this thing, this person knows this thing, then we know that they're involved.
Yeah.
But if they don't know this thing, then we know this crucial evidence that we have, we can't tell anybody because then people will come out of the woodwork.
Yes, yeah.
That's the other thing is maybe he was, I think what happens with investigations like this is the family have to sue, cause a bunch of, the cause that the people to actually release, that have a judge release the information so that they can use it with private investigators and stuff. And so it's probably one of those things where it's more like we have to do this legally because investigators, maybe they don't really, they deal with it so much for like, look, we understand the way you get this stuff out. I'll lose my job if I give you this information.
Of course, yeah.
So like you have to sue us or you have to get a good judge to let me get rid of it.
Like ruin potential leads too. Like,
right. Like, cause then a person can flee, that type of thing.
I don't know anything about this area.
Haverhill, New Hampshire. So
this is speculation. Maybe they're not used to dealing with things like this, that area. So maybe they might have, I'm not playing devil's advocate, maybe they might have botched some of this, perhaps because of that. But again, very speculation. They're not used to handling certain like cases like
that. Right.
I don't know out there. I don't know anything about these people. This town.
And again, I mentioned Dirtbag 112, who basically made videos, but he's like taunting his family, being like, I have your daughter. This is what happened to her. This is what I did with her. That type of stuff.
I forgot about that guy. But yeah, what happened with him?
That's a great question. I can't remember off the top of my head.
He locked up or is he?
Can't remember.
Something has happened. They can go behind that whole like facade of like, oh, I'm just making content.
That's what happened. I basically think that's what happened. Yeah, that type of thing is. I mean, it happens. Apparently, happens all the time.
I'm sure it does. Sure, it does.
And it's like the video he has is this. Oh, I have to show you this. Maybe I'll post it online. This is the video. Like, this is what the video looks like. This is the guy.
That's the guy doing it.
Yeah,
he looks like he's.
That's the guy that's in the video talking.
He looks like a pedophile. That's the best way to put it.
And he's laughing about it.
Oh my God. You said earlier, before we start getting all this, if you were the dad of this person.
Oh, I would have hunted him down.
Yes.
And made sure it was very, very bad.
Dude, that would.
Yeah, it's like that type of person. Like, I guess, then I'll be in jail. That type of thing.
I know you said that like that some of these videos were taken down. Was this guy, do you know if this guy was ever like
yeah, he was definitely
investigated?
Yes. And I think he actually got in trouble and stuff.
But
I think his name's
I assume there's no like direct evidence of him having involvement in any of this stuff. Like,
I can't remember the whole story, but I think.
Yeah, I just want to hit that guy's face.
So here's this backstory from what I can find about him.
Punchable face.
So he created his channel in February 2011.
7 years.
And it was called Happy Anniversary. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And he was consisting of him laughing and winking for the entire video.
Man, if I was girl's dad, I would just lay awake at night just thinking about all the horrible things I'd be doing to this guy.
So I guess a lot of what they found is they have a name for him.
Dirtbag.
Like the guy's real name. And he's just an internet troll. And he was actually not involved in the case, and he only created attention. And I guess the FBI did follow up with him. So this type of thing is just like, what is wrong with you? And apparently he updated like other videos. He had other videos too. And it's just terrible. So if you want to really hate someone, go look up this Dirtbag 112 story. So what I've found is like the story why the guy was called Dirtbag 112 or 112 Dirtbag is because the father in all interviews would say this dirtbag on Route 112. Like would say would just say that and the guy took it.
Definition of a troll right there. Yeah. What do you think?
So
I don't think she went to go commit.
Oh, so hear about this. So the police investigated the guy that made the video, and he also uploaded other videos saying that he did it, or like basically alluding to the fact. And then when they asked him about it and looked into him, he said he was doing it to spread awareness for the case, which
I'm sorry,
it did.
Yeah.
Like in 2011, it definitely did.
Gross way.
If you look, but that's like a lot of this goes back to this. Like it's like these connections of like people are talking about how creepy this guy is, and like that's like whoa, okay, yeah. If you're trying to make like this weird marketing campaign, yes, you did. But like, did you have to do it jerk way? All right. So what I think he had problems. A lot of things going on. Like everything was kind of happening at once in the last few months. And the reason why she was leaving was because like she had to get away, get all this stuff going on. But had to be the reason why she said she had already called AAA and stuff like that was because she had just had another accident. Didn't want to get in trouble. She's supposed to be didn't want to go on, like go to jail or whatever they was going to do to her for those legal issues. And that's why she was trying to walk to find a gas station or someone to tow her car.
Right.
I don't think she's the kind of person that would just walk off and be like, I'm going to go walk into the woods.
Yeah. The fact also she's trying to go somewhere familiar to her too.
She's on her way to somewhere familiar.
Why would she do that if she's trying to completely escape permanently?
If the fact that like
kind of thing,
all this stuff is being packed up in her apartment. And in February, the school's not over yet. Semester's not over.
Yeah.
So she's packing up all the stuff in her place, her dorm, whatever. She has to be something else going on. Like she wants to leave school. So she's getting away to like, I got to figure out how to like tell my parents this. I got to figure out what I actually want to do. Do I want to leave school? Do I want to stay?
Yeah.
You get kicked out of the dorm for some reason. That type of thing always comes up. But I think what actually happened to her after the accident is you had to have gotten abducted. Just a
wrong place, wrong time.
Crime of
wrong
like
person came along.
Yeah, like only a few cars drove down the road, apparently, based on what the bus driver said after he arrived home. I wonder if he saw one come back or was it just the road cars going this one way?
Oh, right, yeah.
Did one turn around and come back?
Circled around, yeah.
Did she start walking? Oh, I guess the other thing was that she started walking, walked away, and then did someone pick her up like a mile or two away? Like, oh, let me give you a ride, and then just murder her?
Yeah.
Because the other thing you have to think is the cop had to come one way on the road. So did she walk the opposite way that the cop came? Because the cop would have seen her, I would think, and be like, oh yeah, I saw a girl walking back there a mile in the middle of the snow. Or, because it was not too long after the bus driver. There's only a few minutes between the bus driver.
It was only like 3 minutes, wasn't it?
Something like that. Or he arrived home and he called then.
That's okay, yeah.
The police showed up at 7:46. He arrived home at 7:43, or put his call in at 7:43, but he saw her at 7:30 something. Yeah. There's only like a 10-minute window. So she walked away and the police were on there already on the way. They would have seen someone walk down the road, I'd imagine. In a rural area, a cop would have noticed that.
Wasn't there a report of someone seeing like 5 miles away?
There was that contractor that saw 4 to 5 miles from the incident. Supposedly he saw a younger person walking. And I don't really know if that like the jeans were the right, like what the color of her clothing was. Like I don't know if that was linked up, but he did come back. He did come out 3 months earlier or 3 months later and say that. And there have been so much stuff going on about this because of, just like the crazy issues of like, she just disappeared within a few minutes. She was gone. What way did she go? If she would have walked through the fields, the cops looked around. They didn't see any footprints going off in any of the area.
Didn't you say it was also like pretty forested too, though?
Yeah, but they would have seen I would imagine they would have seen footprints going off on the side of the road where there wouldn't be a floor.
Yeah.
So I think she just had to have getting picked up. The dogs followed her to 100 yards away from the car, supposedly.
Yeah.
And then it stopped, which investigators were like, well, she got picked up. They don't just stop.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
But it's still so crazy that someone can get taken.
Maybe she fell in love with that person. They're just living.
I hope to God she's just living somewhere else.
Hey, I got $280. Let's just run away together. That person's like, yeah, I'm getting out of town too. Let's do this.
Yeah. So one last thing, I'm going to get your live reaction. If I can get this. Okay. So this is.
That's like heavily forested.
Right. So here's a better image.
So that's what I picture because,
this is a better image. Here's a kern. Here's the houses though. There's houses.
That little like kablooey thing is where she car was.
Yep.
Okay. Is this where the woman called from? That house, I'm guessing right there.
But supposedly it's like one of these houses.
Okay.
So they saw it from out her window. So I'm wondering, did she walk this way and the cop came from that side? I don't know.
You could also like walk back there
into the woods, but why? She doesn't seem smart. She seems smart enough that she wouldn't just walk into the woods randomly, unless she was trying to hide.
Yeah, hide out and like I'll find a long way around to stay off the road because again, like she's trying to not get caught for an accident.
Well, that's it. That's all we got, Jordan. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for that, Chris.
Did I just ruin your next few weeks? You're going to be looking to this crap, reading every Reddit about it and all this stuff. Like, it's just, there's so many outlandish theories. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I wonder, like, how often do you think stuff like this happens?
I think it happens all the time. Way more. We're talking about just our country, probably pretty often. Not pretty often, but often enough. I mean, there's become really high profile ones recently, but even, just a lot of times I think what it is people just disappear because they want to disappear. So it's like they're found a few weeks, a few days later because like they wanted to run away.
You think that's most of the time?
Yeah, it's definitely most of the time. There's a lot of stats out about like, first off, you're going to get abducted 95% of the time it's someone that abducts the kid, especially kids.
Right.
It's like a family member. And if a person goes missing, I think like some crazy stat number. I'm not going to pretend I know what number that is off the top of my head, but it's like pretty like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's not that pretty good number of like they just disappeared because they wanted to disappear. All right. Well, everybody, you are still out there, still with us. We hope to God there's a good ending someday to the story, or at least a ending so our family can rest assured. Like, I'd hate for this never to get resolved, and it sounds like it's not. I mean, 20 years, we may never know, but there have been instances of things have been found recently.
That's true.
So thank you out there, everybody, for sticking with us. If you are listening, please give us a like or follow on any podcast platform that you choose. If you're watching, you can also listen to us. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a subscribe, leave a comment. If you are out there in any way, shape, or form and want to connect with us, please go to our website at mysteriouspals.com to a link to all of our social media. It's also in the show notes. If you want a link to our Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that stuff. I don't really put anything on TikTok, but we'll get there. Twitter, all that junk. Instagram, I think, is the best way, or Facebook to find us and connect with us. Yeah. Send us an email at mysteriouspalsonline@gmail.com. And we will see you next week. Jordan, thank you for being here.
Thank you. I need a palate cleanser after that.
Oh, that was rough. I know. These true crime ones are so rough, but it's like, it sucks you in.
Yeah.
Because you want to know.
It's fascinating.
I would hope that before I die, we figure out an answer to this. Where the heck she is.
Yeah.
And I'd love for her to be like, I'm right here.
Yeah.
I just want to get away.
Especially just closure for the thing.
Yeah. All right, Jordan. We'll see you next week.
All right, Chris.
Same mysterious place, same mysterious time, same mysterious pal. Good night.